days?
Yeah, it's a disappointing day. Obviously, in Pink, we pride ourselves in playing some really good cricket in front of the Wanderers crowd here on Pink Day. Today, a combination of some average cricket from us, but also some very good cricket from Pakistan. I thought in the end it was a really good toss to win. I think it was very, very obvious the difference, the way the wicket played. But still, if you lose the toss, you want to make sure you put a more competitive total on the board.
The middle order, is it a concern in terms of the couple of sort of stutters or collapses even?
Yeah, I think, if you look at both, or so far the series, obviously we've lost a few wickets up front, in I think it was in Durban, and then the same thing happened today. So we got to understand from a Pakistan point of view, it is a threat when Afridi gets wickets up front. He does crack the game open there with the top order. So if you can get through that period, then the rest of the 40 overs looks a lot easier to set it up. From a middle order point of view, as I said, there was a combination of some average cricket today, but it was awesome. I was out there batting, myself and Ash were in, and we found it extremely hard to rotate strike and to try and put pressure on the bowlers. Very unlike Wanderers, spun quite a bit and stopped, which is something that you don't often see here. Obviously other places in the country you can see it, but not at Wanderers. So a combination of both, I would say.
Do you think there may be a slight hangover from what happened in PE when you had a lot of wickets in hand, which didn't go as hard as maybe you could have, where here it seemed as if you wanted to stay on the accelerator even when you were losing wickets?
Not sure if it's a hangover. I think we knew we made some mistakes in PE by not pushing harder. We spoke about it. We said that's not the way. If we're in a position where we can put the foot on the gas, then we certainly want to do it. Today it was about trying to do that. For me, it's about having the intensity to try and score runs, having a great body language at the crease. Just show that energy when you're batting and try and score. And if it doesn't come off, it obviously doesn't come off. But as I said, I tried today, and I find it quite tricky. And there were certain bowlers that you feel like you had to take a risk because in the back of your mind, second innings when the sun is a little bit on the wicket, it's going to get better. So you always think that the total should be a little bit more than you're already in. We were 115, 110 for two, myself and Ash, and we felt like, right, we need to take a risk now here because we need to get to 280 to be a competitive Wanderers score, and as it showed, 160 or 170 when it flattens out second innings is never going to be close to enough.
Although you guys won 2 games in the series already, is it a concern that in each game there was a different issue, like the fielding at Centurion, pressing harder, the PE, and batting collapse, and the not cutting off the...
Yeah.
Is that a concern, the amount of issues that you guys have?
I think it's normal with the fact that you have a lot of new guys coming in. So in games where we felt we didn't bowl as well as we wanted to, obviously there's new guys coming in. In games where we felt we haven't batted as well as we wanted to, there's these new guys batting, obviously with experience as well. But you only get better by doing it wrong in a situation and trying to improve from there. That's how you learn in international cricket. But yes, so far we've done that. We've had one department or maybe two departments every game that has been very, very inconsistent. I won't say it's a concern, it's an area of improvement. As I said now after the match, Pakistan is playing some really good cricket. I think from a consistency point of view, they're actually a little bit more consistent than us at the moment. Their bowling attack is pretty much on it every game. And we know that we need to strike. If we don't strike wickets with them early on, their batting lineup is a lot better. They had an opener almost every innings batting through the innings, so it just keeps the whole batting, I suppose, blueprint together, and that's what we need to do. We show that when we do that, we bat very well. In Centurion we had a good start, and then we can just carry that on through the middle, and that makes it a lot easier, I suppose, for a little bit of an inexperienced middle order.
You've spoken about how obviously you guys are experimenting and trying to sort of find certain players in certain positions, but at the same time, do you feel as if as a team you guys are picking up valuable lessons?
I'm certainly picking up a lot of valuable lessons. I think a lot of things are becoming really clear for me in terms of our balance of our side, what we're missing at the moment, and also the stuff that we do have. So even though we are losing, I assume that the younger guys are getting a lot of experience, but I can speak for myself that there's even today losing, you know, standing on the field, there is clarity in how I see us moving forward as a team.
Faf, sorry, you want to go? Faf, what positives, negatives are you taking from this game, especially heading into the series decider in Cape Town?
Yeah, today it's tough to look at the positives. I mean, I suppose the one partnership of 100 partnership, myself and Ash, was you know, we got through a tough period there. The ball nipped around in the beginning, and we assessed the conditions in saying that we just needed to hang in here and get through it, and then somewhere try and push on a little bit. And I thought we did that really well. And in the nature of trying to take the game on, obviously, if you lose a wicket, then you'd hope that there would be a little bit of a building again, but that didn't happen. So today, positives is probably the crowd, good crowd in, a lot of money raised.
Faf, you mentioned the balance of the team and also how Pakistan had managed to somehow get a guy in and to bat through the innings. A lot of your sort of approach lately seems to have been that you know, 6 specialist batsmen and then really backing your bowlers to take 10 wickets. But in the last couple of games, that hasn't been the case. Is that a concern?
That's actually one of the things that it's very clear for me. That if you do have an attack of Ngidi, Rabada, Steyn, the option of playing 6 batters is there. But if you have one of them missing, then you possibly need to really look at your balance, because, as you rightly say, you can then go into a game saying that as a batting unit you just need to get some runs on the board, and with that attack you can try and strike. But obviously with one of them missing at the moment, it's pretty obvious for me that when one is injured or one is not there, that you would need possibly another batsman in that top 7 or all-rounder.
The fact that it's been a long summer in terms of intensity, are you tempted to rest a few of the guys who may be starting to look a bit weary, or was Wednesday must win because it's a series decider?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. I mean, that is also at the back of my mind the whole time. I can see it. I can see that some of the guys are tired, mentally and physically. So that's a balancing act. You know, we've got a big game that's coming up, but it's really important that we also make sure that we look at guys going ahead as well. I mean, I think we're going to try and rest some of the players who's played in the T20s, get a couple of days off there, who's in the Test squad. But right now, as we are, I can see that there's a few tired bodies on that field, and that's a concern.
Faf, your mindset going into Wednesday's game?
Very positive, a great opportunity. I think what myself and the coach and the selectors will definitely discuss is the fact that we possibly need to make sure that we keep looking ahead at what we need to achieve from a vision going forward. I think it'll be easy now to just reflect on what has been a bad game, but I've certainly got a bit of clarity in what we need to do to make sure, as I said now, when there's possibly not the bowlers that we want, that you probably change our combinations a little bit, because then you're still looking ahead. You're not looking at all your mistakes that you made in the previous game. You're making sure that everything you're doing is geared to look forward. And if you do that, obviously the guys coming in or getting another opportunity to play, they will see it as a big game. That's one thing we've done very well the last while. I mean, we were in Australia and we discussed, it's 1-1 in the series, a big game in terms of we want to make sure that it's almost like a knockout game for us. We want to make sure we get better at those games, the games where if you lose, you're out. And that's the same thing with this last game we're going into now. It's 2-2. If you lose the series. So it's a nice pressure for us to go through as a team.
Aiden Markram looked pretty good in Australia. Hasn't really had a look in since then, and obviously the door is closing for World Cup selection. What's the plan with him?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, obviously, I think Rassie came in and did really well. It's possibly, took a little bit of Aiden's chances away. We'll have to discuss with the selectors if we see the next game as giving him an opportunity, if that's a possibility. It is still a possibility. Not sure whether it will happen or not. But as you can see, there's quite a lot of batters at the top of the order that's competing for 1, 2, 3. probably less batters or definitely less batters in our squads that's competing for number 5 and 6. So that makes it really tough on Aiden. But if we feel that is a decision we can make, that is, as I said, it's a decision that will take us forward in our planning, then it's certainly something we'll consider.
Faf, just within your own form, maybe I saw that you've averaging, I think, 55 since the beginning of last year, with the second closest guys below 40. So just your own form and batting number forward and everything.
Yeah, it's been. I had to adapt a little bit, as I said, in the beginning, that when I played my first, I reckon, 60 games at number 6 and 5, I was counting down the day to get an opportunity to bat at number 3. So when that eventually came, I was really hungry to make that number 3 my position, and really enjoyed batting at number 3. But I think just purely from a balance point of view, the discussions myself and the coach had is obviously, especially in a World Cup, number 4, number 5, that's probably your crunch time positions. So you want your coolest heads, or that's at least what I'm thinking, is to try and go through different tempos of the innings. I think at number 3 you can almost play this a similar way always, whereas 4, 5, 6 you're very dependent on what the team needs, and your game needs to change continuously. So it is something that I'm growing into, still learning about that role. But if it works out, because obviously it's looking more at the moment that there's a possibility at number 3 for someone else, because most of the personnel competing for that position has been 1, 2, 3 players. I think it's harder to go down than it is to go the other way around. So for now, it's still something that I'm definitely also trying, and I think that decision will make, as we've said before, we've played a few games, and then you make a call on what we think is our best balance of the team.
Great, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.